special significance to us, and so there really isn't a definitive favorite.
I would think that having 8 #1 singles though is a hell of a problem to have.
We'll take it. That's fine.
I don't think you were first, but go ahead. Right there.
All those guys are amazing.
Yeah, real cool guys.
Good people, amazing musicians, very, very talented.
He's a great singer. He nailed it every night. It was a lot of fun to watch, and also that single was just coming out when they were out with us, so it was really cool to kind of see how their new song was growing the radio while we were watching them perform it every night, and the audience, you know, growing and getting more into what their new songs were. It was very cool.
When you're on the road with a band, do you, I've met a million bands that never actually ask this question, I mean, at the end of the night, do you actually hang out with them? I mean, most nights, or?
Well, yeah, we hang out a lot. I mean, not every single night. It depends on where we're going and how long the next drive is. But we pick and choose our battles, and when we know it's a late bus call, we usually have a hospitality room backstage, and the guys are always more than welcome to come by. And we've definitely toured up a few times on this tour with them.
So between the 4 of you, though, and I hate to ask this question, but who is most likely to miss bus call or to be dragged to bus call? No one wants to answer.
You know something? Honestly, we're really punctual.
For real?
Yeah, I mean,
we could be completely shit-faced and still make it there.
Okay. That's a good answer, then, dude. That's better than you guys are pros. Nice job. Yeah, with the high hand. Yeah. You.
What's your favorite venue in the world?
Favorite what?
Venue.
Venue.
In the whole world.
Man, that's tough. In the world. See, if you were just talking about the state.
Continental.
Okay.
Continental U.S.
You know, I personally love, I don't know what the hell they call it now, but the World Music Theater.
Oh yeah, First Midwest Bank Empire.
I love that venue. Yeah, it'll always be the world to me too. That was kind of like one of those venues that for us was the premier venue to see a show in Chicago, a big show. And when we finally were able to headline at first, it was actually for Q101.
That's our jamboree, I think, right?
Yeah.
That was a great night.
Oh yeah. We've got that was one of those career-defining moments for us.
I think next year we're bringing jamboree back, so
cool.
Look forward to that. The person with the lighter.
Okay, yeah. I'm from Chicago, so my question is, what's your favorite Chicago pizza?
Favorite Chicago pizza?
Ooh. If we're talking Chicago style, I personally love Lou Malnati. They're amazing, but to be honest, my God, I don't know if I should be honest. I prefer New York pizza. I do. You know, it's a little too thick, a little too much cheese, and leaves me, you know, feeling like my heart is gradually slowing down afterwards. So, yeah.
We all love it.
Yeah.
Are we going over here? This girl over here. How do you feel to be on Rockstars magazine?
Oh, I didn't know we were.
Surprise! I think they've been on a magazine before. What was your first magazine cover?
Oh man, I don't know.
You don't know?
I think probably Metal Edge, right?
Maybe.
Album Network back in the day. Remember?
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the first
I don't think that exists anymore, but it was a magazine in LA that kind of critiqued new up-and-coming bands, and they were the first ones that actually gave us our first good review.
Who? That guy right there with the wristband.
First, I want to compliment you on your videos.
Thank you.
Is it easier now to make them like when you first started?
Never.
Like the process?
It's never easy. It's probably our least favorite part of what we do. It sucks. To be perfectly honest with you, it's so repetitious. You really have to concentrate on finding a vibe. You're playing to a camera instead of people. There's no energy, and you do it 100 times or more. And for me, especially, because if I know the guys all give it 125% every single time, and I wish I could get away with lip syncing for the video, but if I do that, it looks like I'm doing it, so I actually have to sing. Granted, it's not at full volume, but I have to sing each time, and it's so many damn times, and at the end of the day, I'm cash. I'm just done, and they put you in all these... We are so fortunate that as being a dark, hard rock, heavy metal band, we always find our way into the deepest, darkest dungeons and industrial complexes with sediment and soot and asbestos and God knows what else in the air, and they always put us in the nastiest environments you could possibly imagine to film a video, because after all, where else would Disturbed be? So.
Who's next? Right here.
Kill Switch, the Pinnacle Oil, Chimera.
They're great. They're all great. We've toured with all of them actually on Ozfest a few years back, so we've already had friendships with them. But I mean, all these bands are just killing it up there.
Is there a band in particular, like this isn't feminine, but a sister band, like a counterpart to Disturbed, that the one band that you guys love to play with, or?
Well, if they were still around, but I heard that. Pantera, somebody said. If only. Metallica, we've had the honor and the privilege of playing with a few times, and I think that we'll look forward to that happening again in the future.
It's been great after all these years of being friends with these guys to be able to play with Seven Dust finally.
Yeah, that was cool.
I've known those guys for a long time.
Who over there? Yeah.
How do you come about finding your voice and style?
These guys, really, to be honest with you. Prior to being in Disturbed, I didn't sing this way. The bands that I was in prior to Disturbed were more like Chili Peppers, Faith No More type of things. That's where kind of, I guess, I developed that rhythmic sensibility. But the edginess and the primal sort of noises that, come out of me from time to time, that all came out of them. I mean, they really inspired that. The music and the rhythms are so tribal and primal in their nature that it just made me gravitate towards this. And I know that we just have had a tremendous influence on one another over the years in terms of how we all utilize our individual instruments.
David, you just mentioned Faith No More. We played Midlife Crisis yesterday on our show on Q101.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got heard that. They did a Faith No More cover, and it's awesome. And we got crazy good response on it. And I know you've done a couple other covers before. What has to be right for you to cover a song, or what talk a little bit about what is required for you to cover a song.
There's no specific criteria. We need to be, we need to either feel that we can make the song our own. And for the first two cover songs that were released on actual albums, Shouts and Land of Confusion, we took songs that were on the complete opposite end of the spectrum and transformed them to become our own. With Faith No More, as you, I'm sure, heard with the cover, we have so much respect for the band that we wouldn't dare alter it too much, but still try to put a little bit of our own flavor to it. That whole thing came up way back in the day. The Deftones were spearheading a tribute record for Faith No More, and that's when we did the original version of it. And I think it was Mike Patton that ended up putting the kibosh on it, because Faith No More wasn't together and he didn't want there to be a tribute, and so it was just sitting. And so we figured when we went into do Indestructible, well, let's modernize it, beef it up a little bit and bring it back.